Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. In today's video, I am super excited to share with all of you my review of the cult favorite Chanel Duo Ultra Tenue lipsticks. I have heard so many amazing reviews of these lipsticks over the years. I think for a lot of folks, this is their holy grail lipstick. And so I finally picked up a couple of their shades, and I've actually been testing these out for a few weeks now. So I wanted to film a video showing you guys these shades, demoing them on my lips, explaining the process for how to use these lipsticks, and sharing my overall review. So first off, just for some context, I think this is one of the hero products from Chanel makeup for a lot of people. This is a very unique formula that is glossy but transfer proof. So if you're someone who likes more hydrating glossy formulas, but you really want something that will stick over the course of the day and not transfer on your mask or napkin or cup or anything like that, this is a formula that many people swear by. I think I first heard about this formula from Michelle Wong. Charlotte Holdcroft has recently done some content about how amazing these formulas are, and I think a lot of YouTubers who focus on Chanel also really have raved about this product. And so it's taken me a while to get around to buying these. They are $42 each, but recently I've noticed that sometimes they're selling out or getting phased out. On Ulta, there's a lot of shades that are not available. And so when I went to my local Ulta recently, I figured it was time to check out this formula just in case it ever gets discontinued. So here we are today, and I'm very excited to share with you all my thoughts on these products. So I picked up two shades, Soft Rose and Chic Rosewood. Chic Rosewood is basically like a My Lips But Better shade on me. You can see that it's quite similar to my natural skin tone. It's rosy, mauvey, and brown. The formula of the pigmented side is very moussey, and you can see that it's not actually that opaque, at least upon initial application. The scent of this side is also quite strong. It's a bit of sort of a vanilla birthday cake mixed with Chanel fragrance kind of smell. And then the other shade, Soft Rose, is a little bit brighter, so it has a bit more of a fuchsia element to it in comparison to Chic Rosewood. You can see a little bit more of a blue base to that shade. Though honestly, I will say both of these shades are pretty similar to my natural lip tone, so I probably should have picked something that's a little bit more different, but I do really love both of these shades. Now I will remove this from my hand right away because these do stain once they settle down. But as you can see, when you first apply them, they are just that nice moussey formula and can be removed quite easily. It might be a little bit hard to see in tube, but these also do have a faint shimmer to them as well, which adds a little bit more dimensionality to the look. So for today's look, I'm gonna first swatch for you guys Chic Rosewood, just so you can see that on my lips. And then I'm gonna take that off and put on Soft Rose. And I'm gonna let Soft Rose fully set, and I'll go through the whole application process with you guys, just so you know how these work. So to start with Chic Rosewood, so basically you unscrew this side, and you can just apply this directly to the lips. As you can see, it is very similar to my natural lip tone. I have it on the bottom and nothing on the top, but it's looking quite similar. So here we have Chic Rosewood on the lips. If you have a similar skin tone to me, a similar lip color, I would highly recommend this for just an everyday, really beautiful My Lips But Better appearance. Let me actually zoom you guys in so you can really closely see. So it's starting to settle down. I'll take it off before it fully sets, but you can see that as it sets, it gets a little bit more mattified. You might be able to see a little bit of that shimmer as well. With one application, it's not totally opaque. So I'm gonna go in now with some micellar water just to remove that before it sets. Okay, here my lips are completely bare, completely cleansed with micellar water. So now let's go into Soft Rose, and this time I'm gonna actually go through the full application process. So I have tried both of these now several times, and I will say application has a really big impact on how this product wears. So this product is a lot more finicky than your standard lip product in that you do really need to make sure that your lips are totally clean before you put this on. The first time I wore this, I had some lip balm on my lips still, and the wearing power was terrible. Everything was really patchy after a while. It looked really gloopy and bad. So definitely make sure you clean your lips before putting this on, and especially don't have lip gloss or lip balm all over your lips. That will definitely mess with the formulation. So now let's go in with applying this to my lips, and because this is a slightly different color than my lips, I think you'll be able to see it a little bit more clearly. So I do find that you need to kind of dip in at least a couple times to get full opacity. This is sort of a medium coverage moussey lipstick when you first apply one layer. And I would recommend applying 2 layers of this. Just make sure everything is very opaque, because once you set this, it's not going to move much. And so if you have any patchiness in your initial application, it's not that easy to fix. But as long as you make sure everything is fully covered to start, you should be good to go. So there we go, that is the lipstick on, and so now it's good to just wait a few minutes, let it fully set down. So almost immediately you'll start feeling it drying a little bit, and there's going to be that slight tightness on your lips. You'll know it's dry when you have that really sticky sensation. Like I can already start to feel it as I'm talking now, like whenever my lips purse together, there's a little bit of stick. But just wait a few minutes for it to fully set down, and that way you won't get much movement over the course of the day. Okay, I think you can see now it's pretty dry for the most part. You can feel that sort of stick. And so at this point you can go in with the other side, and let me first show you it. It's basically just a clear gloss on a wand. And this side is the same regardless of which shade you get. And then you're just going to put this all over your lips, and this is basically going to keep your lips nice and glossy over the course of the day, make them feel really nice and hydrated. And you can basically pop this into your purse and continue to apply the gloss over the course of the day whenever your lips are starting to feel dry. And this just immediately gets rid of any of that sticky feeling as well. And so you can glide your lips together and it's going to feel juicy instead of really sticky. So here we have the final lip look. You can see that it is very juicy. Basically, the pictures online are pretty accurate in terms of how this looks on the lips. And so you might see that my lip lines are showing a bit. Let me actually stop talking for a second just so you can see. So if you look at the pictures online, you will see that they show those vertical lip lines, but then the lip itself is super glossy. And so that's something to note in terms of the appearance of this lip gloss. It's not going to give you that fully like plumped up lip look where you don't have any lines in your lips. It will show those vertical lines quite clearly, but as you can tell, it is extremely glossy on the lips. So now let's test whether this is transfer proof. Okay, there. So you can see basically no pigment came off, but a lot of that gloss came off. So the gloss basically creates that buffer such that anything that touches your lips is just going to take off the gloss. One thing to note is you will want to reapply gloss over the course of the day, because if the gloss totally dries out and you only have that pigmented layer underneath, it's not going to feel as comfortable on your lips, and also that can start chipping off. This pigment by itself, if you like rub it with a napkin or anything, can come off your lips. So that is one thing to note, because personally, I usually don't actually take my lip product out with me for touch-ups over the course of the day, but I find when I wear this, it is really helpful if you can bring it along just for the gloss component. But as you can see, even after really rubbing my hand against my lips, everything is looking really beautiful, still very glossy, still very pigmented. So I'll check back at the end of today just to show you guys how this has worn, but here we have the final look. Let me know what you guys think. So here we are at the end of the day. So it's been about 8 hours since I first applied this lipstick, and I have had 2 meals, and whenever I eat, I do use a napkin to dab off my lips. And so as you can tell, there's no more of that gloss left. So after the first meal, I did reapply the gloss, but after the second meal, the gloss is totally worn off. So my lips do look a little bit dry right now and do feel a little bit dry. But I wanted to hold off on reapplying the gloss just to show you guys what it looks like once that gloss has worn off. And as you can see, the pigmentation is still definitely there. There is a little bit of fading just on the edges over here, and that happened pretty early on. So as I mentioned with the application process, you definitely want to make sure you fully cover your lips, because any areas you didn't cover with complete opacity just won't look as crisp as the day goes on. Also, you might be able to tell that kind of in the inner portion of my lips, the product has also worn off. And so wherever you have a lot of moisture on your lips, it's not going to necessarily stick as well there. So that's something to keep note of if you do get this in a brighter shade that might be more different from your lip tone. You might be able to see a little bit more kind of that butthole lip effect. As it stands right now though, this is still fully transfer proof. So if I kiss my hand, you can see there's absolutely no pigment transfer. Similarly, when I was dabbing my lips with a napkin, there was also no pigment transfer. So it has worn really well today on the whole. So I have had previous experiences where some pigment has come off, but today, because I followed all of the application steps really rigorously, it's totally stayed on my lips and has not transferred anywhere at all. So now just for demonstration, I'm going to put on some more of this gloss just to show you guys how this kind of renews the look. So you can see there with just a little bit more of the gloss, it looks much nicer now. It looks nice and juicy and hydrated. My lips feel really comfortable again. So it is really nice to bring this gloss around with you. So throughout the day, you can do this sort of touch up. With that reapplication, I feel like it looks a lot like when I first applied it. So now let's get into my overall thoughts about this product. So first off, I'll say that if you are someone who struggles a lot with your lipstick transferring, and that's a major pet peeve for you, so for example, if you wear a mask a lot, or if you really don't like lipstick transfer on napkins, cups, so on and so forth, I do think that this is a really excellent formula. I've never experienced the formula that's this transfer proof that isn't also extraordinarily drying on the lips. Even for most matte liquid lipsticks that are really drying on the lips, they often still transfer a lot more than this formulation does. And so from that perspective, I think this is a really amazing formula and would definitely recommend it if that is something you care about a lot. That said, I will say that there are a lot of cons with this formula as well. So first and foremost, the price is really steep. So each of these was $42, and you really don't get that much product. So the total amount is 0.15 fluid ounces, but because you have to use both sides, you're essentially getting half that amount of product. And as you can tell, this is not actually that much product. And also because you have to reapply the gloss throughout the day, my guess is that you might run out of this gloss before you run out of the pigment. But the pigment by itself is just not comfortable on the lips. Unless it's set, it gets really, really sticky. So I think that is one downside of this formula. In addition, there definitely is a learning curve with this formula. This isn't something where you can just quickly whip it on without thinking about it and it just looks great after that. You do have to make sure that you thoroughly clean your lips beforehand and that you apply a really nice opaque layer of the pigment on your lips and that you wait for it to fully set down before you go in with this gloss. If you miss or mess up any of those steps, then you will most likely get some patchiness or fading in the wrong places throughout the day. And this isn't something that you can easily correct by just reapplying. The pigment part doesn't look very good if you layer it on top of the gloss. And so that is a little bit finicky, especially if it's your first time using this. You might find that it's not actually giving you that transfer proof effect. And so for me, whenever I use this, I make sure that I reserve enough time to properly apply it, and then I do usually like to bring this with me throughout the day in order to reapply the gloss. Again, that's also something that I do find a little finicky about this, because as someone who normally doesn't necessarily bring my lip product with me throughout the day, I think part of the goal of having a transfer-proof, long-lasting lipstick is to not have to do that. But with this formula, I would highly recommend it if you are going to be doing any eating, or if you are going to wear a mask, or anything that just might wipe the gloss away. You'll definitely want to have the gloss for reapplication just in case. On the whole though, I'm really glad I picked up this formula, and I really like both of the shades that I picked up. I probably should have picked one up that was slightly more different. I am eyeing the Timeless Beige and the light brown shades, since those do look really beautiful as well. But I do think this is just a very unique formula, unlike anything else I have ever tried. And even though it is quite finicky to use, now that I have used this for several weeks and I think I've gotten the technique down, I do appreciate just how transfer proof it is. And I found that it does have a unique role in my collection. I would love to hear in the comments though what you guys think about this formula. Have you tried it out? If so, do you have any tricks for how to make sure it works throughout the day? Please let me know your thoughts down below. So that's it for today's video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you all so much for joining me today, and I'll catch you next time. Bye!